Welcome back, fight fans, to Fightium, the channel where we break down the chaos, the drama, and the absolute madness of the fight game. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and let's dive into something wild today. Picture this, a shadowy decision looms over the UFC lightweight division. A king sits on his throne, Islam Makhachev, waiting for his next challenger. But who's it gonna be? Charles Oliveira, the man who's been to hell and back for that belt? Or Ilia Topuria, the brash new kid who just ditched his featherweight crown and wants to storm the 155-pound castle? Here's the hook that's got me losing sleep. What if the UFC is hiding something bigger, a secret plan to shake up the division like never before? Stick around, because we're about to unpack this mystery blow by blow for the next 6,000 words of pure fight nerd heaven. Alright, let's set the stage. It's March 26, 2025, and the lightweight division is a pressure cooker ready to explode. Islam Makhachev, the champ, is sitting pretty after dominating his last fight. We'll get to that later. But the whispers are getting louder. Who's next? Charles Oliveira, du Bronx, the guy with the most finishes in UFC history, a former champ who's been grinding for a rematch. Or Ilia Topuria, El Matador, the ex-featherweight king who just said sayonara to 145 pounds and now wants to leapfrog everyone at 155 for a shot at gold. And here's where it gets juicy. Oliveira recently dropped a bombshell on the Ariel Helwani show. He said, and I quote, "If Topuria's the next one to fight him, then so be it. I'm just an employee here." Calm words from a killer, right? But is there more to this? Is Oliveira hinting at something the UFC isn't telling us? On Fightium, we don't just report the news. We dig deeper. So let's break this down. Charles Oliveira is a legend. Let's not mince words here. The guy's got 22 wins in the UFC, 19 of them by finish. He's tapped out more people than most of us have had hot dinners. Back in 2021, he climbed the mountain, beat Michael Chandler, and claimed the lightweight strap. Then, after a wild reign, he ran into Islam Makhachev at UFC 280, October 2022, and, yeah, it didn't go his way. Arm triangle choke, second round, title gone. But here's the thing, Oliveira didn't quit. He came back, smashed Beneil Dariush, then took out Dustin Poirier. Wait, scratch that, I'm getting ahead of myself. Poirier fought Makhachev, not Oliveira. Point is, du Bronx has been stacking wins, staying active, and proving he's still a nightmare for anyone at 155. Now, fast forward to today. Oliveira's been vocal but chill about this Topuria situation. On Helwani's show, he said, "I'm gonna keep fighting, keep preparing, keep waiting for my turn." That's classic Charles. No ego, just focus. But let's read between the lines. When he says, "I'm just an employee," is he taking a subtle jab at the UFC? Like, "Hey, I've done my time, but you're the boss?" Or is he genuinely at peace with whatever Dana White and the matchmakers cook up? On Fightium, we're not buying the "I don't think much about it" line completely. Oliveira's a shark. He smells blood, and he wants that belt back. So why isn't he screaming for it? We'll circle back to that. Now, let's flip the script and talk about Ilia Topuria. This guy's a walking highlight reel. Undefeated, 15-0 as of now, and coming off a reign at 145 where he knocked out Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway like it was nothing. Brutal, clinical, terrifying. But here's the twist. Topuria just relinquished his featherweight title. Why? Weight cuts. The man's frame is filling out, and 145 was killing him. So, he's moved up to lightweight and immediately started talking smack. He's saying, "I deserve the next shot at Makhachev. I'm the biggest star, the best fighter, and I'll finish him." Bold, right? But does he have a case? Let's look at the facts. Topuria's last fight at 155 was back in 2020, a knockout win over Jai Herbert. Solid, but it's not like he's been cleaning out lightweights. His argument is built on star power and momentum. He's beaten two of the greatest featherweights ever, and he's got that it factor, charisma, confidence, and a killer instinct. The UFC loves a money fight, and Topuria versus Makhachev? That's pay-per-view gold. But here's the mystery. Why would the UFC skip Oliveira, a proven 155-pound beast, for a guy who's untested in the division? Is there a hidden agenda? On Fightium, we're starting to smell a conspiracy. Before we go full detective mode, let's talk about the man at the center of this storm, Islam Makhachev. The lightweight champ is riding high after defending his belt, most recently against Dustin Poirier at UFC 302 in June 2024. Fifth-round submission, absolute domination. Makhachev's record stands at 26-1, with a wrestling game that's suffocating and striking that's getting sharper every fight. He's Khabib Nurmagomedov's protege, but he's carving his own legacy. Right now, he's waiting. No fight booked, no opponent named. And that's where the tension builds. Makhachev's been quiet about Oliveira and Topuria, but his team's dropped hints. Khabib's in his corner saying, "We'll fight anyone." Islam's posted cryptic stuff on social media, like that tweet last week, "The belt stays with me." Next. Classic champ energy. But here's the question. Does Makhachev care who's next, or is he just letting the UFC play puppet master? On Fightium, we think he's got a preference, and it might not be who you expect. Hold that thought. Okay, let's build Oliveira's case. If I'm his lawyer, here's my pitch. Charles has been in the lightweight trenches for years. He's fought the best, Tony Ferguson, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Beneil Dariush, and finished most of them. His loss to Makhachev? Fair, but it was competitive until it wasn't. Since then, he's 2-0, with knockouts that remind you why he's called Bronx. He's ranked number 2 in the division, behind only Makhachev. Experience, heart, and a resume that screams rematch. Plus, fans love him. That comeback story from the streets of Brazil to UFC gold? Untouchable. But there's a flip side. Critics say Oliveira's had his shot and lost. Makhachev tapped him out clean, no fluke. And at 35, is he still in his prime, or is the clock ticking? On Fightium, we say nonsense. Oliveira's evolving, not fading. His striking's crisper, his jiu-jitsu's still lethal. If anyone deserves to run it back with Islam, it's him. So why's the UFC hesitating? Now, Topuria's argument. If I'm his hype man, I'm yelling this from the rooftops. Ilia's the future. Undefeated. Knocked out Volkanovski, a guy who dominated for years. Smashed Holloway, a legend who'd never been KO'd before. He's got power, precision, and a swagger that sells tickets. At 28, he's young, hungry, and peaking. A fight with Makhachev isn't just a title shot, it's a super fight. 2 champs, 2 divisions, 1 belt on the line. The UFC wants headlines, and Topuria delivers. The counter. He's unproven at 155. One fight there, years ago, doesn't mean he can hang with Makhachev's wrestling or Oliveira's chaos. Weight cuts sucked at 145, sure, but can he handle the bigger, stronger lightweights? On Fightium, we're torn. Topuria's a gamble, but a damn exciting one. Is the UFC ready to roll those dice? Here's where Fightium gets spicy. What if this isn't about merit? What if the UFC's playing 4D chess? Think about it. Topuria's a rising star, a Spanish-Georgian phenom with crossover appeal. Oliveira's a fan favorite, but he's not new blood. The UFC loves fresh narratives, and Topuria versus Makhachev screams, changing of the guard. Meanwhile, they could keep Oliveira busy with someone like Justin Gaethje or Nate Diaz, build him back up, then give him the winner. It's a long game. Or, hear me out, what if Makhachev's next fight isn't even Oliveira or Topuria? What if Conor McGregor's lurking? Nah, I'm kidding, Conor's still healing up. But seriously, the UFC's silence is deafening. Oliveira's calm attitude, Topuria's bold claims, it feels orchestrated. On Fightium, we're calling it. There's a twist coming, and it's gonna flip the division upside down. Let's hit X and see what the fans think. I pulled some posts, check this out. At MMA Maniac says, Oliveira's earned it, Topuria's jumping the line. At FightGod 420 counters, Topuria's the future, Charles had his chance. Oh, and at UFC Truth dropped a wild one, Makhachev's ducking Oliveira for an easier fight. Ouch. I analyzed Topuria's latest X post too. He linked a training clip with the caption, 155, I'm coming. Dude's jacked, looks ready. Oliveira's quieter, just posted a Bible verse. Deep, man. On Fightium, we love the chaos of fan debates. What do you think? Drop your pick in the comments, Oliveira, Topuria, or someone else. Alright, prediction time. Fightium style. If it's Oliveira versus Makhachev 2, I see Charles pushing the pace, landing big shots, but Islam's wrestling wins again. Late submission. Topuria versus Makhachev. Ilia's power could shock early, but Makhachev grinds him out. Decision. My gut says the UFC goes with Topuria for the hype, keeps Oliveira in the mix with a #1 contender fight. But that conspiracy vibe? I'm not ruling out a curveball. What's your call, Fight Fam? Who's next for the lightweight king? That's it for today on Fightium. We've dissected Oliveira's chill vibes, Topuria's bold move, and the UFC's shadowy plans. Subscribe if you haven't. We're your home for fight breakdowns, conspiracies, and all-out madness. Hit the bell, share this with your crew, and let's keep the debate raging in the comments. Until next time, stay ready, stay hyped, and keep fighting. Peace out.